Welcome back, everyone. We're here today on our Training Thursday episode of the week. Excited to get into today's simple EMOM workout program ideas. I'm going to give you some fun ones to be able to do. This is literally for any level. Beginner, advanced beginner, intermediate, or advanced training. You can literally use this type of workout with any of those. I'll explain exactly what EMOM workouts are with AMAP or ARAP workouts as well. I'll go through all of that. And again, excited to always be able to talk health and fitness based with you. For those that are not familiar, I spent from about 1996, 1997 until about 2008, 9, 10, right around there, as a personal trainer, National Strength and Conditioning Associate, CSCS, performance exercise specialist, like all those fun things. I loved fitness and I was doing it with advanced nutrition. We were helping people at like the highest level for performance, for body transformation, work with all sorts of fun actors, writers, celebrities, you name it. And then of course, just everyday people. So I love the background in this. There's so much of I've said this a million times before, and I'll just say it again, is that I believe that most personal trainers have the greatest ability to change people's lives for the better than almost anyone in the world. And the reason is this. Think about it. People see their personal trainer twice a week, sometimes 3 times, or maybe even just once a week. But think about it. Who else do you see 2 to 3 hours a week? Like literally, who else do you see in your life for 2 to 3 hours a week? Besides your direct family, if you got your own family or so, probably not seeing your parents for 3 hours a week, 3 days, I should say, 3 individual days for an hour, probably not having a phone conversation with that long. So what I'm saying is that a personal trainer, good personal trainer, if you can find one, they're invaluable. If they are someone that can provide you with solid nutrition advice, solid healthy lifestyle living based advice, solid exercise workout advice, it's a game changer. It's literally a game changer. So I'm a huge advocate for the field. There's a lot of bad personal trainers out there too, but honestly, there's a lot of bad doctors. There's a lot of bad, there's a lot of bad everything, right? So just keep in mind, you'll be able to find the right person. It might take a couple people, but for sure, an invaluable investment, in my opinion, if you are able to afford it. All right, so let's dive into the show. What are EMOMs, right? What's this, an acronym or acronym? So EMOMs are every minute on the minute workouts. You might say, well, what does that mean? Well, there are a lot, this has been done actually since like the 70s. And essentially what it's happening is every minute, so every 60 seconds, something is changing in the workout. So the easiest example is this. You're in a group fitness class, and it's basically like the old school aerobic based classes, or maybe even like a lot of the boot camps now. Okay, so for 1 minute, excuse me, for 1 minute, you're gonna do as many squats as you can. The next minute, you're gonna do as many push-ups as you can. The next minute, you're gonna do as many lunges as you can. The next minute, you might be doing as many rows as you can. The next minute, you're jogging around the group exercise room, right? So it's like every minute, you're just switching the exercise that you're doing, or something is switching. So is it good or bad? Well, let's talk a little bit more about it before we say good or bad, because I think that there are pros and cons to this. Now, one thing that you always want to remember with these types of workouts is that the instructor, personal trainer, yourself, they can change it to be whatever they'd like. So you could say, okay, minute 1, you're going to do your squats, right? So I'm just going to kind of go back to what I was saying before. Minute 2, let's say you're doing a chest press, like a push-up. Minute 3, you're doing lunges. Minute 4, you're doing rows. Okay. And then minute 5, you could be doing some jogging sprints, whatever you want to say. All right. So you don't have to go for the full minute. Your instructor could say, I want you to do 15 repetitions. All right. Do 15 repetitions. Then the rest of that time is going to be rest. But when that buzzer goes off, okay, then you move from squats, then you move to push-ups. Then when you do your 15, when that goes off, you're going to do 15 rows. And then when that goes off, you're going to do your 15 lunges. And I kind of obviously switch those a little bit. So you can do it that way. And so now you've created your upper limit for reps that you're going to do. Because the biggest problem with boot camps and, the beginning stages of CrossFit is that you would literally just do as many reps as you could. And that's called AMRAP. And that's the one that I kind of stumbled over in the beginning of the show. But AMRAP is just as many reps as possible. Reps are just the amount of time that you do something. So every time you do one push-up, that's called one rep. One row would be one rep, right? So repetition, rep, that's the same exact thing. And so when you look at that, you could say, okay, well, that makes sense. But when you look at a lot of these EMOM-based workouts, so every minute on the minute and as many reps as possible, or even just every minute on the minute, they're not designed well. They're really not. They're designed just to basically crush the human body. That's because a lot of people, and this isn't just personal trainers' fault, a lot of people equate a great workout with being absolutely just decimated at the end of that workout, like lying on the ground in a pool of sweat, barely able to catch their breath, because if they think that they're not in that state, then they didn't get a great workout. The problem is you can only do workouts like that for so long. If you're not in your 20s, good luck sustaining that level of exercise 3 or 4 days a week for more than a year. Like, you're just going to burn out. And the reason I know that is that my Integrative Health and Functional Medicine Wellness Center in Boston was directly above one of the largest CrossFits. I had the pleasure of being able to test a lot of those athletes. And I tested their hormone levels. I tested their stress hormone levels. I tested their gut function, and it wasn't good. It was not good for a lot of the top ones. Now, did they look like they were in shape? 100%. Internally, were they in shape? No, not at all, right? See, the exterior in shape, the internal, not so much. But a lot of these people were hedge fund guys and girls, and they would go do CrossFit. Everything was just like to the nines, right? Like all the way, like as much as you could push yourself. And the problem is they didn't stick with it for more than a year or so because they got injured. And that's a lot of the issues with this sometimes limited range of motion, which I'll talk about in a moment, and just doing as many reps as possible or just crushing your body every single workout. Now, CrossFit, to be fair, has changed in a bit or in a roundabout kind of way to understand that this is not the best way to train. You feel like you get a great workout, and yeah, you do for that day, but that's unsustainable. And it's actually not that great for the body. We've talked about that in terms of the amount of inflammation it creates, the muscle tissue breakdown that it creates, its effect on the digestive system, stress hormones, HPA excess, et cetera, thyroid. But so what can you do? Well, you want to look at it this way. So let me point out some not great workouts that I just typed in EMOM and I typed in workouts to see like what people were posting online. And this is basically some people's workout of the day. So here's an example of an EMOM that makes absolutely no sense. So this person, every even minute, okay? So every even minute, they're doing 3 back squats, okay? They're doing 3 back squats at 80% of their 1 rep max. So 80% of your 1 rep max is basically, you're doing 1 rep max means you're putting weight on your back and you're doing as heavy a squat as you can, the most weight that you could do for 1 rep. 80% of that is obviously 80% of your max. So it's still a very heavy weight. That is a neurological based exercise. That's if you are doing 1, 2, or 3 reps, you're basically doing a neurological based exercise. Yes. Is it strength based? Of course it's strength based. You need to be able to push up from the ground, and you need to be able to lower that weight in an eccentric phase in a with good form without bending your lower back, right? Without running that out, or your hips. So, but you're taking an exercise like that with very, very heavy weight. And then that's the even minutes. Then on the odd minutes, you're doing strict pull-ups for 5 reps. Okay. So you're doing your 5 reps is weighted or not weighted to get 5 reps, and that's it. Not more than 7, but not less than 5. Think about that for a second. You're doing every minute on the minute with the heaviest weight that you can basically for your back squats, like 2 or 3 reps. And then you are adding weight or whatever you need to do 5 pull-ups. That's your whole workout. To me, that doesn't make any sense. Like, first of all, sure, back squat is arguably one of the best exercises for your legs. Arguably, right? You could say Romanian deadlifts, you could talk about Olympic deadlifts, you could talk about whatever you want, right? We won't have that argument here today. But if you're taking a neurological, heavy strength-based exercise, mixing it with another strength-based upper body exercise, And you are saying every minute, every even minute, or so let's say go odd first, you're doing your 5 pull-ups. Then right after that, again, you might have 30 seconds in between because you did 5 reps in 30 seconds. Then you're doing your 3 reps. Well, just again, for people that have never done 1 rep maxes or 3 rep, like we'll say 3 reps, you have to understand is that it will take you close to a minute. You're taking the weight off, you're getting your shoulders. You don't just all of a sudden drop into a back squat for a 1 rep max or even a 3. You're getting your feet position, you're feeling your arches, you're making sure you sit back into your hips and hamstrings, the larger muscles in your body. You're engaging your core. Like there's a lot that goes on. It's probably going to take you like 30, 40 seconds to do those 3 reps. And so now, right away after that, you're going back to your pull-ups. But then right after that, you're going back to your back squats. And there's just so much that could go wrong when you're doing heavy-based weight. It's not smart. It's just not a good workout. And it makes absolutely no sense. Like it literally makes no sense. Sure, arguably one of the best upper body exercises is some type of chin up or pull-up. Okay, we can make that argument. Same with back squats, but that's your whole workout. That's literally what I found online. This person's entire workout for 24 minutes. That means they're doing 12 80% 1 rep max back squats. That's just insane with no rest in between, like literally insane. You should give yourself at least 3 minutes rest between sets if you want it to be a neurological based exercise and recruit as many muscle fibers as possible. And then the 5 rep pull-ups, okay, I can kind of get behind that. Like I'm not totally against that, but it just doesn't make any sense because then you're exhausting yourself going in your squats. Okay, anyway, here's another one that's equally as bad and then we'll talk about some good ones. So this one, is 20 minutes. Okay, so this is 20 minutes. It's 20 minutes nonstop, so there's no rest. Right? And there's 4 exercises. 5 power snatches. Okay, so you're doing power snatches for 5 reps. I don't even want to get into what a power snatch is right now, but think about it. It's a very challenging neurological exercise where basically you're taking the weight from around knee height or all the way from the floor. All right, for a power snatch, usually from the floor all the way above the head. I mean, you need to make sure that your form is on point. You should see the amount of people that get injured in CrossFit doing power snatches. It's not good. Then it's 5 toes to the bar. So basically you're engaging your core, bringing them up. Then there's 5 thrusters. And then there's 5 on the bar burpees. You don't need to know what all of these are. Okay, just think about this though. Every single minute you're doing all of those and you're doing 20 rounds of them. So you are doing, let's do the math on that, 400 reps, right? Yeah, you're doing, I think so, what, 10, 20 times 20 rounds? I think it's 400, but again, I apologize for math. At least I can do regular math. It's 20 times 5, so it's 100 each. Doing 100 power snatches, 100 toes to the bar, 100 thrusters, 100 burpees. Like it's a workout that someone created that probably never did it themselves, or if they are, they're just trying to show everybody that they can do it and just crush their clients. Like it just makes absolutely no sense, especially since like everything is anterior based, meaning like it's working the whole front of your body, and there's really not a whole lot that's going to help pull the shoulders back. Now you might say, well, they're doing that a different day. Maybe, but you're doing 400 reps. And when you're doing exercises that are also need a lot of form, you do not want to push yourself to just as many reps as possible and every minute on the minute. So now I'm getting full circle. What is a good workout for every minute on the minute? All right, because I'm not against every minute on the minute. I'm not at all. I think it's a very organized way and can be a fun way to lead a class or a group of people or even create a workout. So if you think about it, you could take the same exercise we took in the beginning. Let's say it's squats. Let's say it's chest press. Let's say it's lunges. Let's say it's a row. All right. So that could be a totally fine workout to do. All right. So we have those exercises. That's going to constitute about 4 minutes of work. All right. And we can even throw 1 minute more in at the end. Let's just say we added in some oblique twists with the medicine ball. All right. So you're in a V pose and you're rotating the ball side to side. Good with form. Okay. So you're doing each one of those every minute on the minute. But what we can do is we can say, we're going to do 10 to 15 repetitions. And you're going to push yourself every round to do as many as you can. You're not going to be super heavyweight. We're going to do 10 to 15 reps, okay? So not as many reps as possible, all right? So now what we're doing is, all right, 10 to 15 reps, of the squats. Great. You finish that. You've got 20 seconds left. Okay. So you're going to use that as recovery. Then you're going into your chest presses. You do your 15 reps. That gave you an extra 30 seconds of recovery. Okay. Now you did your lunges. You had 20 seconds left for recovery. Then you went into your back upper body exercise because we're going lower, upper. So we're kind of giving the lower body a little bit of a chance to breathe, or rest, I should say. We're not breathing because we're still breathing during every exercise. And do your rows, and then you have maybe 20 seconds left. And then you move on to the core exercise. And then after that, every minute on the minute, we've actually rested, if you look at it, about 4 minutes since we did our back squats. So now we can come back to our back squats and do those. And even though we're keeping the heart rate going and the body moving, what we actually did was we actually gave ourselves about 4 minutes between the last time we did squats, and then 4 minutes between the last time we did the chest exercises, right? So if you think about that, that can be a way of what can be considered high intensity interval training and using every minute on the minute. That would be an acceptable way to do it. Now, another way to do it, every minute on the minute, excuse me, every minute on the minute, but after you do your 5 exercise circuit, you give yourself 3 minutes off. And then you do every minute on the minute again for those 5 exercises, then 3 minutes off, then every minute on the minute for those 3 exercises if you wanted to do 5 exercises, if you wanted to do another circuit. So if you're a personal trainer listening to this, that's a very succinct and clean way to do it for your clients. They can absolutely take that on their own, do that on their own. We have some of those style of workouts in our iboan-based app through Equalife, which is really, really nice. Those are completely free for the iboan-based members. And the other thing is you'll also know like what's a bad workout. If a bad workout is pushing you basically to failure and then not giving you any rest at all, and it's like less than 10 reps because at least less than 8 reps, you're working on strength. And then when you get below 5 reps, you're working on really neurological based strength as well. You have to be careful about that, because there are downsides. When you do as many reps as possible, that AMRAP, you also want to be careful that you're not doing a lot of full range of motion or plyometrics or going too heavy. And I believe in all of those things. I believe in going heavy sometimes. I believe in full range of motion. I believe in plyometrics. The problem is if your body's not rested, you're putting yourself at greater rate for injury. And that's why there are, or at least there used to be, so many injuries in CrossFits and boot camps. And the reason is that people got no rest. They got very little tutelage on what their form should look like, and they're getting injured. Rotator cuff tears. They were getting labrum tears, shoulder and hips. It was just knees blown out. It was not good. And the reason is that your workouts are meant to serve you. Your workouts are not a competition. If you are not in competition, your workouts are not a competition. All right? So you have to understand that. You're training to get you better. You don't prove anything to anybody by doing a few more reps or whatever. Just prove it to yourself. And so literally, if you're combining as many reps as possible and every minute on the minute, what are you really trying to do? Well, there's only one main thing you're trying to do, which is increase overall work capacity. And there's a time and place for that. So again, like if I was working with a mixed martial artist, like an MMA fighter, I might do 5 rounds, literally 5 rounds of as many reps as possible every minute on the minute. And why? Well, I'm training them to be able to do 5 rounds, 5 minutes each, with 1 minute rest between each one of those rounds. And they would do 3 to 5 of those rounds, right? That's for their actual competition. But we would train more than that so that their work capacity was greater than what they would actually do in competition. So there's a time and place, but again, that's less than 1% of the population. So it's really important to know yourself. And if you're a personal trainer or fitness professional, to know your clients so that you're not pushing them past the limit of what actually would be a good workout. So I hope this was helpful. At least now you're able to understand what EMOM is, AMRAP is, and I think the week before we talked about Metcon workouts versus HIIT workouts. So I'm just trying to build up that vocabulary. And so when you see these workouts, you know which ones are actually beneficial and which ones aren't. This is all part of your health-based knowledge. I really think it's important. Always ask me questions. If you have questions, feel free to leave a comment. I love hearing from you. Always feel free to share the show if you believe it could serve anyone. That's always appreciated. And of course, I will be back every single day with the Cabral concept, teaching one new health, wellness, weight loss, anti-aging, weight gain, all the health-based topics. So thank you so much for your support. I appreciate you.